Hello, hello, Velocity Banking students, Kingdom citizens, loyal subscribers. How you guys doing today? Thank you for tuning in. We have a interesting topic today that I want to share with you guys. For all the new people here, if you're watching for the first time, my name is Denzel Rodriguez, your personal finance geek of the 21st century. On this YouTube channel, we cover the Velocity Banking concept, infinite banking, and Kingdom Authority. In today's topic, we're going to be in the Kingdom Authority part, specifically around women empowerment. What does it mean? How has it impacted women? And I have a special guest that I would like to personally introduce. I'm going to give my own little personal testimony, and then we'll bring her on. Her name is Alexa Rose Carlin. I first met her back in, I think it was 2017 is when I started seeing her material, and I attended an event in 2018 in Fort Lauderdale, which was the Women in Power Expo. That was when events were in person and people were hugging and kissing and all that good stuff, and that's like long gone, right? Since 2020. But hopefully we'll, go back to normal pretty soon. But that was my first event. This was before I had the YouTube channel, before I had a business, before I had anything. I was at the time still selling Invicta watches, Cutco knives. I was bouncing between different MLM companies. And that event really set the scene for what I wanted to do. It gave me a little sneak peek. And I realized I declared something that day when I was at the event. I want to say there was over 1,000 plus people there. Majority women, of course, women-owned businesses, small portion of men. But I said, I'm going to speak here one day. I declared it. And 2019, I got accepted by Alexa herself to speak at her event in Fort Lauderdale again. And I had clients come, and so it's been a huge success working with Alexa. Alexa has been a leader to me, a coach, a friend, loyal friend, and really, really helpful in regards to growing my business, has become a valuable asset. So I would like to now bring on Alexa. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bring you on the screen here. Tell us a little bit
Well,
about yourself and what you do, and just a little
yeah.
overview.
Well, thanks so much for that little testimony. I appreciate your friendship and appreciate your support more than I can really ever say. And I didn't realize though that you came to the first event before your business. So that's really awesome to see how much you've grown in such a short period of time. But as Denzel said, my name's Alexa Carlin, Alexa Rose Carlin all over social, and I am the founder and CEO of the Woman in Power X, which is a platform and event series to really help women, entrepreneurs, leaders start, grow, and scale their business. And we, yes, do in-person events, and now we are also creating a membership community to really go deeper into helping passionate entrepreneurs thrive to that leadership position and really scale their dreams. And then I'm also a professional speaker, and I speak all over the country at different events, conferences, and at many universities.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I took some time to write down some notes and some statistics, some really, really good news. I think it's important to share good news in a time when, you turn on the TV and it's always bad news, no matter who's talking, right? So I want to share some stats with you first, and then I'm going to ask you a little question. So according to the census.gov and American Express, the median income for women from 2017 to 2018 household, women run households as the head of household in terms of income, increased about 5.8% between 2017 and 2018. From 2014 to 2019, women-owned businesses increased by 21%. The total women employment by women-owned businesses rose 8%. The total revenue growth of women-owned businesses was about the same as for all businesses. And here's an even bigger statistic here. From 1972 to 2019, the growth was at 4.6% in the 70s, and it has grown over 42%. Women of color account for 50% of women-owned businesses today by American Express, and I also got this information from the census.gov. Now, I believe Women Empower X has a lot to do with these stats. And so my question to you is women empowerment, right? With that being said, what does women empowerment mean to you? And how do you empower women, or how have you been empowering women?
Yeah, so women empowerment, what that means to me, we'll start there, is it's really about helping women take action. And empowerment is just that, in my point of view. It's giving them the fuel, the support, the knowledge, the tools, the resources to take action, right? I can show anyone what to do all day long to reach a certain goal or a certain level of success, but it's them that they have to do it. And so inspiration, while it's great to feel inspired, that can only go so far. But empowerment, you are giving people the courage, the confidence, the capability, showing them their fullest potential, and empowering them with those feelings so they can go out in the world and do what they love, and have confidence doing that. So with Woman Empower X, we've been rooted on collaboration over competition, and that all comes down to being vulnerable, authentic, because that instills more confidence, and that instills a level of community that's a deeper connection than just surface level. I mean, the reason I started WEX was because as a professional speaker, I was going to all these different events, and it was so segregated off. I would be speaking to just millennials at one event, just women further along in their career in another event, or just women part of a certain ethnicity or a certain industry. And I just thought, like, how much change can we create when we just connect and collaborate with diverse women from all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds, all industries. And bringing this diverse community together really opens people's mind up to the possibilities of what can happen. And also, with that, we say WEX is a place where you share not just what you do, but who you are. And so through my talks, through everyone that's a speaker at our events, through our volunteers and my team, we try to create this ripple effect of being vulnerable. Because when you can really share who you are, your challenges you're going through right now, plus you're trying to grow this business, or you're a leader or an expert in a certain industry, but you're still going through all of this, that helps other women realize, like, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be this quote unquote expert with this perfect life and the perfect strategy in order to make an impact, or in order to be successful doing what you love. And I think that's what has really fueled people to take that first step and turn an idea into reality, turn a business concept into a registered LLC, because it connects on a deeper level. Again, you see a lot on social media, you hear a lot from these quote unquote experts, and you always feel, or like I always felt, that I was so far removed from it. How can I ever get there? But so that's why I really own in on that vulnerability piece, because I think that's really helps people say, like, I don't need to be anyone other than who I am right now. Sure, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to get better with time, but that is only going to come through action. And so that's like our biggest focus. And I think that's why we've heard so many incredible stories of books being an idea to becoming a published book. Again, like from ideas started to roll out into businesses, from a film idea that's now winning a ton of awards on the film circuit. Like, it could be any dream, but it's all about supporting people, because that fuels empowerment, and then helping them take that right action step.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I believe in everything you're saying. I can personally testify back when you were talking about the diversity, how you were saying at first when you were going as a speaker, as a public speaker, professional speaker, going to these different events, and it's like strictly millennials or older generation or middle-aged. Attending WEX 3 times, because I've been to 2 of them in Fort Lauderdale, and I went to one in Raleigh, North Carolina, that's where you live now, correct? Right?
Yes.
Yes, and that was the first one you did,
Mhm.
right? In Raleigh. Yeah, that was a lot of people showed up to that for a
Yeah.
first time event. And what I can personally testify is the vast diversity between as young as like 18, 16 years old to as old as like 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds that were coming to WEX trying to figure out what do they want to do, who do they want to target, what's their niche, what's their product, what's their service, what's their signature offer, their signature talk, their unique acquisition, right? Just so many different opportunities in one location, right? And you don't feel overwhelmed. That was another thing. I didn't feel overwhelmed coming to these events. It was, I could, you guys provide an agenda. And what's really unique compared to every other networking event or business conference I've ever went to, and I went to a lot. Right as I graduated high school, I attended so many different types of business seminars, sales workshops, and they're all very, very structured, right, for the most part. Some were a little bit, out of place and whatnot, but for you, you could attend WEX and get a completely different experience than someone else that attends that same day because of the way you have your agenda. Could you like kind of break that down, what it was like, in person, how you, like, where did that come from, that idea? Because that was unlike anything I've seen before, where it's like I could literally show up and I can pick exactly who I want to talk to according to what I wanted to learn. And I can just get that and then be on my way. So where did that idea come from?
So, as I mentioned, with our goal to connect all these diverse women, when you think about that, whether it's age or industry, or if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're ready to jump into the entrepreneurial world or turn your side hustle into your full time, every single person walking through that door is going to WEX with a different goal in mind. Sure, they want to feel inspired. Sure, I'm sure they want to meet people. But at the end of the day, they all have a different dream and a different goal that they want to work towards. Or maybe it's just to find that dream, that goal to be reignited. But whatever that mission is and the reasoning why you came there, it's different. And so that's where it came from, like that idea and that thought process of really tuning into our audience and how could we be the most valuable for them. That's what helped me create the schedule like it is. And so, like you mentioned, you can pick and choose whatever you want to experience. If you want to go to every session around marketing because that's what you need in your business, you can do that. If you want to just see the keynote speakers and feel inspired, you can do that. If you just want to walk around the marketplace and network, you could do that. And so it really allows this open environment where people are learning different things. And I think that also helps with different connections and networking, because you see different people in all the different breakouts or through the marketplace. So you're not sitting next to the same person throughout a full day event. And you get to meet so many more people that way. And so this also opens up possibilities for people, right? So like if you are looking at the schedule and you had it set that you were going to see all the keynote speakers, but then all of a sudden you see this panel on imposter syndrome and you're like, I don't know, maybe I should really try that. You could do it last minute. You could go to that breakout, and that brings about new ideas, that brings about innovation and different epiphany moments, but also it allows you to connect with different people throughout the day. But again, the whole inspiration behind the way that we structured the event was thinking about our audience and knowing that they're all coming here with a different goal in mind. And we want to help them achieve that, giving them the possibility to create their own schedule.
Totally agree. That was another pretty cool thing, is that you're not forcing the attendees to stick to a certain schedule. So it's like you could pre-plan it, but then you're like stuck between, oh, should I go to this financing or this marketing, right? And then you end up choosing last minute, and if there's space, you're in, or if there's no space, I mean, sometimes it'll be packed in there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people wanting to know about finance or, marketing, which are like probably the two most popular things, especially in the environment we're in right now, knowing how to market yourself during a COVID environment. So that leads to another thing I want to ask from you, is just tell us your beginning, right? Where did it all start for you? Where were you at? What age? And then that transition where you're at today, and some of the main things that you're focusing on today in the environment that we're in comparison to what you were doing before. Give us a little, overview of that.
Yeah. So quickly, the background, going way back. I started my first business when I was 17, designing jewelry for an LA-based fashion company, where I donated a percentage of proceeds to help build schools in Africa. And that was my first real dive into entrepreneurship. And I just fell in love with the process of turning an idea into reality. And it's always been my goal to make a difference in at least one person's life every single day. And I found entrepreneurship as my vehicle to do that. So it went from this jewelry business and being a licensee for this LA-based fashion company, to then I started a blog in college with the mission to redefine perfection and help instill confidence in young girls and women. And then I had this crazy near-death experience when I was 21 years old that left me with a 1% chance to live. And it changed my entire life, because a few months after this near-death experience, when it was a bacteria that got into my bloodstream and just started killing all of my organs, I ended up being diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And that has been the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with, because it's chronic, it's part of me, it's invisible. And I mean, for 3 years of my life, I was in and out of doctors, in and out of hospitals. I was quarantined for 8 months because I was too sick to leave my house. And this was back in 2014, 2015. And that experience, while I suffered for a very long time, it also led me to shifting my perspective of my current situation. And for a long time, I was in the victim mindset. I asked why this happened to me. I felt like I was a victim to circumstance. I felt like all my dreams were taken from me. And it was a shift, asking myself, why did this happen for me? And I went on this journey, not looking for hope or the light at the end of the tunnel, but instead being curious to what may happen if I don't give up, what may happen if I wake up one more day, if I keep on going. And that led me to trying to find what the reason was that all this happened to me. or happened for me. And I discovered a love and a passion for public speaking, thinking that I could share my story and hopefully inspire others to chase after their dreams, regardless of the challenges that they're going through. And so that led me to speaking. I was pitching myself to so many different organizations asking to speak for free when no one gave me the opportunity. I let it discourage me for probably 3 to 4 months. I mean, I pitched like 60 people and they all said no, or they didn't respond. But then I still had this burning passion inside of me. And that's when I decided, you know why am I waiting? Why am I putting my dreams in the hands of someone else? Let me just create my own event and speak on my own stage. So my first event, it was under my blog's name at the time. And this was back in 2014. So I was still very sick, but I was starting to try to get out. And when I was too sick to speak publicly, I started live streaming and speaking virtually through like Periscope. And this led me to like gaining more momentum, gaining practice as a public speaker. First event had 5 people, and I was super excited. Next event had about 20 people. Next event had 50 people. And soon enough, people that came to my small local events, they hosted their own events too and started to ask me to speak. And I spoke for free for about a year until I got my first paid gig, which I found off Twitter. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Speaking is very much about momentum. And the more you do it, the more you speak, the more opportunities you'll get to speak. And like I mentioned earlier, while we were talking, while I was speaking more and more, I saw that disconnect among women. And that's what led me to starting Women Empower X in 2016. And when I started WEX, a lot of people don't realize, like, I was still very sick. I mean, I remember trying to go for interviews at the local TV station and unsure if I would make it. It was a very challenging time. It's only been the past really 2 years that I've been in full remission from the autoimmune. I still have it, but I'm at the healthiest part that I've been since everything happened. But that's kind of the quick background of how I landed where I'm at. And I never imagined I would be in the event space. I never imagined I would be running a business of this kind because I always thought I was going to be in the fashion industry. And I've pivoted a lot in my career because I did the fashion industry as my own business. I did a blog that turned into a lifestyle blog, that turned into a healthy media site, that turned into a nonprofit. And it's all been with purpose. I talk a lot about pivoting with purpose. And currently with COVID, it definitely hurt our business. I mean, we're an in-person events company and I speak in person all over the country. So obviously all my speaking gigs either were canceled, postponed, or changed to virtual, which is a whole new environment of speaking. And then we had to postpone all of our in-person events. So when I talk about pivoting with purpose, what I mean by that is I didn't just pivot because of the state of the economy or because of the circumstances. I looked back on my goals. I looked back on my dreams and what did I want to bring to fruition? So there's like 2 ways of looking at this. One, what's your intention behind why you're doing what you're doing? And does the avenue, the path that you're on, does that have to be the way that you're achieving that mission? For example, if my mission is to empower more women to start and scale businesses, that doesn't have to be through events. That was just the avenue I was on at the time. But on the other side of it, I've looking back on like old journals and everything, I've always had this idea and this dream to create this online community, this membership that brings every single powerful entrepreneur together to really connect, collaborate, learn, and grow. Because when I was growing as an entrepreneur, and still to this day, there's a lot of overwhelm that you feel, and overwhelm causes you to stay in like paralysis. Like it's the worst thing. I'm feeling overwhelmed. It's like I don't even know where to start, let alone how to start. And when I was growing, all I wish that I could have was one place that I went to for all of the tools, the strategies, the knowledge, the education to learn certain things to help me get to that next level in business versus trying to figure out who to listen to, what YouTube video, what social media platform, it's just like so much. And so we've had this idea to bring about, just COVID escalated it and made it come to fruition a lot quicker. But we launched the WEX Inner Circle. Well, we launched it to a small group of people, but we're launching it publicly on November 14th. And what it is it's an online community that really helps you start, grow, and scale your dreams by providing you the exact roadmap to get to the next level, as well as all of the ins and outs. So you can stop guessing, you can stop staying in overwhelm, you could stop researching and staying in the research bubble and start to take action with us and get to the next level until you start to see like, wow, not only am I doing this, but I'm supporting my family doing this. I'm supporting other people's families that I employ. I'm making an impact. I'm doing what I love. I have more freedom. And you really step into that leadership role as an entrepreneur and as a company within your industry, becoming a leading company. And so that's what we've been working on and what I'm really excited about. But when I talk about pivoting with purpose, think back to your goals and dreams that you've always wanted to achieve. And that's the route that you should take, not just pivoting due to circumstance.
Wow. Let me see. There were some key things that you just said, some really key takeaways that I want to digest real quick. You had said what happened for me, not what happened to me. That is something I think a lot of people forget. You know, when you're interpreting a bad thing, like what happened to you, I mean, 1% chance of living, that's a bad thing. But the amount of good that came out of bad, it's this interesting dynamic of a certain amount of pain, suffering, or obstacles or challenges that every human being must go through, to whether it's to become more humble or to get a different perspective, a different outlook on how things really are, you know, based on your reality before the tragic event and then your new reality after the event and just how you operate. So that was a key takeaway for me. And then the other thing was the amount of free public speaking events you did for an entire year. I didn't hear a number, so I wanted to ask you, do you have an idea or the amount of talks that you did before that first paid event that you found from Twitter?
Good question. So that time frame, I probably did, I don't know, maybe just under 50 free talks, but still to this day, I speak many places for free. It really depends on the location. It depends on the environment, but I've spoken at hundreds and hundreds of events for free to grow my business, to spread my message to the masses. And I think that's really important because, and you know this, but like there's a balance of doing stuff for free as well as getting paid to do, your best work and to get paid for your talent. So it has to feel right for you. But public speaking has also been my number one marketing vehicle to grow WEX. So if I'm speaking to a group that wants me to speak on a specific topic, and maybe it's a university, that's going to be a paid gig. But if I'm speaking to a local organization before one of my events is coming up, I'll offer to speak for free as long as I can share information about the event. And that's what's really helped me grow WEX. And that's why it's been so community driven, is because I'm speaking and sharing vulnerably my story, my journey, my mission, asking people to be part of it. And then all of a sudden they start sharing their story mission, they start sharing WEX, and then it just like grew from there. I mean, WEX has very much grown through word of mouth.
Wow. Yes, that was really, really good. And that point that you made, another takeaway from what you said before, was pivoting with purpose is another key takeaway. And a person in the chat room just commented. So for the 53 people here that are watching, and then people that are going to watch the replay, understanding how Alexa has been consistently pivoting with purpose, not because of what's happening to, outside external forces, but more so internally. Would you agree? It's more internal than it is external for why you would, shift. Although obviously a COVID forces people to change, and we naturally will continue to change. Everything in our life changes, things, the environment change, your body changes, your emotions change. So knowing that if you're intentionally pivoting with purpose, that was a key takeaway, which I would like to ask you the next question here, which is what are some ways that you have shifted your business from, in person to now, online, large events to, online large events? Maybe like one or two specific things that that you did intentionally to pivot to, whether it was to expand like 10x, right, or simply improve your efficiency in your business. So like one or two things, real specific, that people can take away for today.
That's a good question. So one or two specific things I will mention first, as I'm thinking of that, that when I talk about, instead not doing it because of circumstance, of course, circumstance, like you said, pushes us into that pivoting mode, but you don't want to feel resentment towards your dreams and goals, and you don't want to feel like you failed. And I think that's really important, because if you are pivoting due to circumstance, you're going to feel like you failed, even though it's part of like outside control, like this pandemic. A lot of times you'll take that internally and feel like, well, I didn't make it work. And you don't want to have that self-doubt. And so one to two specific things. The first one is that I invested into the right software. We can wait and feel like until we're ready, or do, again, like stay in the research bubble. I researched a bit, but I knew that if I wanted to really pivot my business to online and to this membership, I had to have the right software. It would make it much easier, and it would produce a return on investment, multiples of ROI. So that was one main specific thing, is I purchase the right software. But on the flip side of that, I guess the second thing is I looked at my expenses, because of course we had to cut expenses during this time. And I really thought, like, what is necessary right now? What do I need? What is fluff that makes maybe things easier, but it's not necessary? Or we just were using it for events and we're not hosting another event until 2021, or whatever that may be. Where could we combine efforts maybe? So I looked at all of my expenses, and I actually got rid of a lot of different things that we were paying, like those monthly subscriptions or whatever it may be, thinking like, yeah, this helps automate right now, but we don't have these systems in place right now, because we're not doing events. So we can always bring that back when events come back. So let's cut that expense. Or we have an email list, we have an automation platform, and we need something to host our membership. Well, the new software that I purchased can do all of it in one. So we cut the other two expenses, and we saved a little bit, even though the other software is more money than maybe some of the other things. But because we cut other things, does that make sense? So I would say the two things: look at what you need and look where you can cut expenses, but don't get so boggled down at uh, the mindset of lack of money, because that's really hard, and that's really hurtful to your growth and to your business and to your success. So, yes, be smart about it. Don't be emotional when you have to cut expenses. But at the other flip side of it, if you are pivoting and you need something to make sure that pivot can be successful, figure out what you need to do to make it happen, and invest in yourself and invest in your business.
Oh yeah, that I really appreciate you mentioning. So just another two main key takeaways from that for people watching live here is she just said that you invested in the right software. Now, this is another personal testimony back in 2019 when I spoke at the Women in Power X. This was November, right, for
Mm-hmm.
Lauderdale.
Yep.
I had a booth which was like literally right at the main stage. Like the main stage was like right there, and my booth was to the right of the stage. And there was a lady. There was two businesses, two women. One was doing, uh, she's I forgot her name, but you know her. She does the Airbnb.
Yeah, Milani.
There you go, Milani. But she was helping another business owner, so she wasn't doing like it was dual. It was like clothing and then her Airbnb. And then the lady next to me, I forgot her name, but she was promoting her books and her coaching. And I think you were there. If not, it was just the three of us talking. And she talked about a software called Kajabi,
Mm-hmm.
which I know this is something that you use today. I use it as well. I got Kajabi a couple months after she spoke so highly of it. This was pre-COVID, right? It was months before COVID hit, and she was talking very, very highly of Kajabi, how it's an all-in-one platform. It can do a lot of different things: your email, your website, your hosting, your this, your that, your course, your online course. I mean, so many things. And from 2019 to now, I've been able to generate just under $250,000 of revenue from Kajabi alone, right? Hosting my courses on there, my coaching, my online courses, and just my affiliate marketing, all that good stuff. So it's just under $250,000. And buying the right software, like you said, you eliminated two, you bought one. Although this one was more, technically it was a savings compared to the longevity of the two. I think that's what you were
Mm-hmm.
getting at.
Yes.
So that was a key takeaway. And the other thing being is that this is a finance channel, and we talk about personal finances. You talked about evaluating your expenses, knowing what I call it on my channel is knowing your four major numbers: your income, your expenses, your debt, and your cash flow. If you know these four numbers like the back of your hand, you are going to operate a lot more effectively than someone else that doesn't know what they're spending. And then when COVID hits or a crisis hits, then they're forced to look at their numbers and realize, holy crap, I've been running a negative for the last 2 years, but since the economy has been up, it's been fine, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's why a lot of people got wiped out, I think, over the last 6 to 9 months or so. A lot of people have been getting wiped out or really, really hurt. Like you said, it hurt your business, but it also helped your business because you're intentionally pivoting. And so my final question is asking, did you create the WEX Inner Circle and your Become a Public Speaker? Did you create those two online courses because of COVID? But obviously this is a no because you answered it before. But I'm just going to ask it anyway. Because of COVID, or was it something you were already planning on doing? And I know you answered it, but kind of dive a little more into that, like how come it came out now versus before. What were some things that like obviously sped it up? And I know the environment had something to do with that. But
Mm-hmm.
give us your thinking behind when it occurred, when you were like, oh, I need this in the business, and then the amount of time that it took for it to come into play. Give us that.
Yeah. So, well, Be a Public Speaker, I launched back in 2017 or 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018. I launched Be a Public Speaker, which is the online program to teach entrepreneurs, leaders how to get their message to the masses and use public speaking to market their business, or get paid for public speaking. And that idea into reality took years because I kept on like getting these questions on how to grow as a public speaker. How did I do it? How to use public speaking for your business? And I kept on like answering people until the point where it got too much. And that's when I was like, I need to create a program for it. And then I had to set aside time to do it. And at that point in my journey, we were hosting 2 events a year, one in DC in the spring and one in Fort Lauderdale in the fall. So I planned after the DC event, once that's over, we had a lot of time before our next event. So I would work on this program, building it, creating it, and publishing it. Then, so it took a while, but once you put a date on the calendar, it helps speed it up. And then regarding the WEX Inner Circle, like I said, when I look back in journals, you can see like I have so many journals right there. I've always had this idea for a membership. I mean, to the point where it was way before WEX. It was when I was in college with my blog Hello Perfect, trying to figure out this membership. And of course, there's that imposter syndrome. Can I offer the right value? And it was always these thoughts like I'm not ready yet. And then when I sat down, it was right after New Year's. I went to the beach with my boyfriend and we did kind of like a whiteboarding vacation where we would like whiteboard out all of our goals and resolutions for the new year and then my goals for WEX specifically. And I knew I wanted to, again, I never set out for WEX to be an event company. That was never my plan. I never studied hospitality or went to school for it. Like I did it because I wanted to get practice speaking and I wanted a community. I was starving for a community. And so this is how it came about. But that was never my long-term goal. I love events, but again, that wasn't, I didn't want an event business. So the beginning of this year before COVID, I was like, hey, I have to set aside time to turn this idea of a membership into reality because it aligns perfectly with what we're doing. Our audience is asking for it already. Every time I host an event, people are like, how can I stay in touch? Do you have a membership? Can I sign up somewhere? How can I be part of it? How can I connect with other people that attend different events in different cities? So like the community was asking for it. But at the same time, in 2020, we were planning 3 to 4 events. I mean, we hosted WEX LA the end of February, like literally right as COVID was spreading. We got like the last event before everything shut down. And so this was an idea before COVID hit. Then once COVID hit and I realized we're not going to be able to host 3 more events throughout the year, uh, I was like, hey, well, I just have to focus on this and go all in on it. So yes, it was tough, but it was also a blessing in disguise. I mean, I always look for the opportunity through the obstacle, but it gave me the time I needed to make it the best possible membership that I can make it and really think through it all and the different phases of growth with it. And probably if it wasn't for COVID, I wouldn't have the time to feel like it was ready to roll out. So in that sense, it was an idea before COVID, but COVID let me turn it into a reality.
That's pretty cool. You know, in whenever there's crisis, you know, I simply interpret crisis as an opportunity. Chaos, crisis, a bad thing, it's an opportunity. Albert Einstein said it. There are certain cultures that literally their definition of crisis is opportunity, not go and hide, you know, go down in a bunker, you know, lock things down, don't do nothing, wait it out. No, it's a time for action. It's a time for pivoting. And you want to do it intentionally, not because of external, but because your internal being is wanting to explode. It's wanting to release your gifts, your talents, And you could say if this idea was before WEX, I mean, I'm sure that program was itching to come out of your being. And another personal testimony here. I've gone through, no, not finished it, but I've been going through the Become a Public Speaker course, and it is phenomenal. It's one of those courses that even if you're not ready, you could buy it and do the pregame work that you have in the first couple of sections, like the different modules, and you would literally, that would be worth it right there, even if you're not getting paid to speak yet. Because notice how Alexa just said it was a year before she got her first paid speaking gig. And me personally, this year alone, I think I've done about maybe 10 to 12 online collaborations. And then in 2019, I did a couple of in-person collaborations, none of which I got paid for, but it resulted in so much revenue, obviously, because like you said, you had the opportunity to share what you're doing. And so I made sure of that. Hey, as long as I can, do a call to action or share or sell from the stage or sell from the camera, then that would be fine by me. And I was cool because at the time I didn't even know what I should be charging for speaking. But now I do. Now I have a whole outline, and if I'm going to do something for free, it's because I want to do it. Even if I was first starting out, because even when I first started out, back in 2018, when I first started my business, I had my first speaking engagement in Miami. 9 people showed up. I didn't get paid for it. I recorded it, put it up on YouTube, and it has been an income generating, people get to see the before and after, of what I'm doing. And also for you as well, people get to see the before and after. So in the course, you can see all the events you've done, right? It has all the recordings of all the in-person WEX events, and then the ones upcoming. I mean, it's just one of these types of courses that I'm just going to keep paying the monthly. Oh no, it was actually a one-time, right? For Become a Public Speaker.
Be a public speaker is one time, and then membership is monthly.
The membership is an add-on to that, and they're both in the Kajabi platform. So if you have the Kajabi app, you sign in with your email, you can see both of it there. So I highly recommend those courses for people that are wanting to pivot their business, go online, and you have to talk, you have to speak. And one would argue that it's probably a little bit harder to do it through the camera, because now you have to make sure your stuff is set up right, your audio, your this, your that, versus in person, it's just, walk with the mic, and you're good. Or even without a mic, just talk loud, because I've done that too. I've been at events where there was no mic, and I just talked loud, and it went well. So to close out, I've gotten a ton of value out of this, and I'm sure for like the 70 plus people or so that are watching live right now are getting a ton of value from this. It's a bit of a different, subject, but it encompasses the principles, the fundamentals of having authority or empowerment to expand, grow, shift your way of being into masterful living and 10xing your business, 10xing your idea, and really expanding. So I want to close out with you letting us know the different dates of the events that you have coming up for this year and then going into next year, as well as your website, your links. And I already put it in the description below for people watching live and in the replay. If you click in the description, I deleted all my stuff. It's all Alexa's information. But anything specific that you want to leave us with, and then just close out with those specific dates of the events, especially the one coming up a week from now, November 14th, a week or two from now.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And so anyone can connect with me personally at Alexa Rose Carlin all over social media, mostly on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And so then regarding dates coming up. So we have our first virtual event called WEX Virtual coming up on Saturday, November 14th, and it is 100% free to attend. The reason that we made this event for free was because we really wanted to reconnect with our community. And while we can't do it in person, we still know that it's just very important, especially during this time, to feel connected, to feel supported, and to get that energy. And what this event's really focused on is, yes, you'll learn from like amazing speakers throughout the day on different topics, from scaling a business to 7 figures, to marketing, to becoming an asset, all these amazing topics. But really, like, my goal is to fuel you with the right energy and mindset so you could finish off 2020 strong, but even more so go into 2021 with the knowledge, the preparation, and the energy to just continue to grow and move forward. So that's why we made it completely free. Whether in person or virtually, energy is contagious, and that's what you can expect. 100% for us to bring is all that powerful energy. So that's November 14th. You could sign up at womenempowerx.com. Again, it's 100% free to attend. And then in 2021, we do have plans returning to Washington, D.C. on July 31st, 2021. And so that's still in motion. Of course, we're watching the guidelines from the CDC. And yeah, so I would invite all of you to attend both events, and especially WEX Virtual, because you could do it from the comfort of your home.
Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody watching here today. You've heard it. November 14th, WEX Virtual. Sign up. Excuse me. The link is in the description below, so check that out. And Washington, D.C., right? July 31st. That's in person, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I will be there. So for all my clients in Washington and the surrounding areas, if you're willing to make the drive, meet me in person. I will be attending that event as well. That fits in my calendar perfectly in July.
Awesome.
So I'm happy to support that. And let's see, was any closing remarks, any final takeaways that you want to, leave people with, especially for the, I have a lot, as you know, a lot of my viewers are mothers, single mothers, married. They're just starting their businesses, or they don't have a business, but they have an idea. Anything you want to leave them with as we close out today?
I would say be very patient with yourself, and remember, like, if you are just doing one thing a day, like literally one thing, whether it's reaching out to someone, whether it's watching this live stream to learn something, you are moving forward. And I truly believe that it only takes one decision, action step, event, video, social media post to transform your life forever. And so be patient, be kind with yourself. Do not get into the sense of comparison mindset, because at the end of the day, the energy that you're putting towards comparing your life or your circumstance to someone else is wasted energy living your own life. And we're all going through different things. Some people share it, some people don't. But what I can say is going through an invisible illness. People only see what they want to see on the outside. It's only when I choose to share and I'm vulnerable that they can really see what I'm currently going through. And so if you feel alone, if you feel like you're on this journey alone, reach out to someone. You are definitely not. Attend our event, be part of our free Facebook group, because it's a really supportive community. But again, like, as long as you're taking one action step a day, you are doing so much, especially during this time, to keep on moving forward. And that's what it's all about.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And one more thing I wanted to leave people with, because I forgot it before, but now I remembered. Alexa and I have partnered together, signing my agreement today. And anyone that enrolls in her course, the Inner Circle, right? And
The membership.
that I'm going to give, and this is anyone, you know, whether you go through me, you say, okay, you know, I went through Denzel, or just anyone that signs up for the course, and I believe anyone that attends WEX Virtual, I'm giving a online digital gift, 45-day access to my financial course. No harm, no foul, right? 45 days, check it out. And then, so you get both. You get Alexa's course and then the financial piece to it, where you can say, all right, here's how I, you know, get my numbers together so that I can make sense of the business concept, the business idea that I want to do. So I just want to leave people with that, especially for the people that watch this whole video through. Nice little gift that Alexa has accepted, you know, working with me, and it's an honor to work with you, by the way, with
Oh, thank you.
the amount of work that you're doing and the amount of people that you're, you know, blessing and helping and just expanding. It's an honor to be in your presence. God bless you. Thank you for spending some time with me today, and we'll close it out here. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Bye, everyone.